This dual battery electric cargo bike has a payload capacity of 440 pounds, and they say we can do up to 85 miles of range on the dual battery version. That's gotta be a little bit optimistic. There's also a single battery version, which costs about 400 bucks less than this. You can see current prices down below the video in the description box. The one we see here today is $17.99 with the dual batteries. It's called the HeyBike Hauler, and today we're gonna review it. So let's just turn this thing on right away. We got those batteries about topped off to 54.2 volts right now. We have a basic display. You can turn on the backlight by holding this button. And check this out, it's got turn signals. So you get a signal up front as well as one around back. And of course headlights and various readouts here, including distance, odometer, wattage of the motor, and that's that. Of course, your same old 5 levels of pedal assist that we see on like every bike. There is a throttle. It is a thumb throttle on the right, which operates the HeyBike 750 watts nominal 1400 watts peak geared hub motor on the rear. Here's what it looks like when you smash it on pedal assist 5. With no load on the motor, it'll rip on up to 35. Seems plenty powerful. Hopefully it's got good torque to carry the stuff on the back. Check it out. One of the things I really like about the Hauler is the way these floorboards mount, or I should say how they retract. Because I've reviewed many cargo bikes, and one thing that kind of sucks about these when they have floorboards, you gotta be careful not to run your own leg over with these things. So it's really convenient that you can kind of put it up and get out of the way of your leg. Because if you put your foot down, it sucks when you get hit by these things. We'll take a look at those batteries here in a minute, but first let me show you the mounting points. So you get 2 right there and 2 right here. Pretty long rear rack, which the rack is built into the frame, so it's like really sturdy. Payload capacity is 440 pounds as mentioned. Another thing that really sticks out about this bike is the seat on this thing. This is like the biggest, squishiest, plushest seat I think I've ever seen on an e-bike. So we'll be feeling that out soon. It does have some springs down there as well as a little hatch release lever here so you can get your battery out down here. And a quick release so you can adjust it. This e-bike is rolling on the shorty 20x4 inch wheels. Generally you get more torque out of these. They're better at accelerating than top speed per se. And we do get front suspension, which is adjustable right here. We do get clicks so you can kind of firm it up how you like, or lock it out, unlock it completely. The tread on the tires is designed to be ridden on the street, and you can adjust the angle of the stem, raising it up, so you can kind of fine tune how high your handlebars sit. They are kind of like this BMX style, so they have a rise on them. Ergonomic grip should go well with that seat. There's a horn. The auto button, which I forget what that one does, but we'll check it out soon. And 7 speeds on the Shimano shifter, which will control your Shimano tourney derailleur. It does have a derailleur guard on there in case you knock it over. It won't mess up your whole derailleur. 7 Shimano, owie, that's sharp. And 7 gears on the cassette. It's got a center mount kickstand and also a normal kickstand on the other side here. So I like that. It's easier to use the one on the side. So if you don't have a bunch of weight on there, you can just, use it like a normal bike. But if you are loading up cargo, it's beneficial to use that center mount one because it keeps everything centered in. So it won't tip over when you load up weight. The brakes are RSX and they are hydraulic levers. I've seen prettier arrangements of, cables up front, but it works. And you also get these 4 mounting points up front for a basket on front. And as you probably noticed, on the rear here, there are these metal panels kind of preventing stuff from getting down here in the spokes of the wheel. So that's super beneficial if you're carrying little ones on the back. Precious cargo that could get caught in there. Better than some of the plastic ones we've seen in the past, or more sturdy. I guess it does probably add some weight. That little wheel down there will help keep the chain a little bit higher off the ground so it's not dragging. It's got the typical metal pedals and RSX brake calipers with a 180 millimeter rotor up front and the same exact setup around back here, 180 millimeter rotor, RSX caliper. This one comes in yellow, but there are 2 other color options available in the link below this video. Also, this is the dual battery. You can also get the single battery as mentioned earlier. Whether you get the dual or single, you'll get this battery here. And if you get the dual battery, then you get this one on back as well. The main frame integrated battery looks like this. It's got a switch and a USB port. And it is a 48 volt, 18 amp hour, 864 watt hours of energy battery. The second battery has those same switches and USB port, but it's a little bit smaller at 48 volts, 12.5 amp hour, 600 watt hours of energy. Around back, when you grab the brake lever, it lights up, so you get a flashing brake light. Obviously, you can turn on the light as well, then grab the brake lever, just making it flash when you grab the brake. And it is a cargo bike with a little bit of size to it. Pretty long, got a little bit of weight to it. Here is the seat on minimum height. dropping it off that center stand. I am 6'5", inseam 34. Stepping on this bike is easy because it has short wheels and an easy step through frame. Seat on minimum height. Here's what I'm looking like on this thing. And what my pedal stroke looks like on this e-bike. Obviously too low, but this does seem approachable for a shorter individual, as well as, with the seat on maximum height, a taller individual. I can hop right on this. Here's what my pedal stroke is looking like on here. I feel nice and comfy on this thing. Can just kind of barely touch the ground there when the seat's on max height. And you can use the center mount kickstand, but you don't have to. I think they said it weighs about 100 pounds. Let's see if I can pick the entire thing up with both batteries on it. Why am I doing this? This is not wise. Oh my goodness. 302. And then stepping on the scale without holding the bike, 201. So according to my math, that'd be just over 100 pounds with both batteries on there. However, if you only run one battery, you can remove about another 8.4 pounds. And HeyBike does have an app that's fairly useful. It's pretty easy to connect up a new bike. Just kind of tap on that button, connecting, boom, there goes the cargo bike. So you can get in the settings here and change, use your top speed. We're gonna flip it on over to miles per hour. So the app shows you stuff like your battery charge and various stuff. And you can actually turn on and off the bike by pressing this button. Check it out. But really the thing that makes this app useful is the personalized feature here, where you can change, well, who cares about miles to kilometers? We're gonna leave that on miles, but you can change the user top speed and the throttle limiter. But the cool part is how you can go to the pedal assist speed limiter and change the maximum speed for each of your pedal assist settings. So right now we accidentally bumped it on out of 3 pedal assist levels, which is fine. But yeah, you can change, the top speed of each one of these individually very easily. And then you have your pedal assist sensitivity. We'll try that out. So let's go take this thing out for a rip. All right, dudes, let's check out the HeyBike Hauler for a ride. Of course, we're gonna track our official range on these dual batteries. And I think I forgot to mention, it does have a 4-amp charger. So to charge these batteries from empty to full, it'd be 18 amp hours divided by 4 amps from empty to full, and then same 4 divided by what, 12.5 on the rear. So a little bit faster charge, but they do only give you 1 charger. I only got 1 charger anyway. Of course, you could always grab a second charger, but let's get on out of here. Actually, I want to get a quick drink of water, and that's when this little side stand really comes in handy here. The center mount one does have its purpose, but for everyday use. And I am noticing it does have like an automatic daylight sensing headlight. So that's just kind of turning on and off. It's flashing on the rear. That'll turn off when we get outside in the light. So test number 1, we're gonna run it up the 20% grade here, see what kind of torque we're working with. Torque is important on a cargo bike. So we'll just full throttle it. I weigh 200 pounds, see what I can do here. Info. How many watts we pushing? 800 watts. So it is pulling 600 watts right now. And it is going up the 20% grade from a complete stop. But it did kind of reduce our power as it slowed down, and that is likely, as I always say, to preserve the motor from burning itself up. So let's just start with a little tiny bit of a rollout here, and I'm not pedaling at all. Ready, go! So 800, 900, 1,000 watts, 1,200 watts. So like, as you go a little bit faster, it gives you a little bit more power. And here's the torque, no pedaling at all, bringing us up 20% grade. So in order to get access to those higher wattages, you have to be rolling at a little bit higher speed on this bike, it appears. First thing I am noticing on this bike is, man, that seat is giant. And yeah, man, it's just like sitting on a piece of furniture almost. It's kind of almost like pushing me forward a little bit. It's like so big. I'm just like chilling on this thing. So let's bump this on down to 0. You can modify those settings inside the app. This will give you no throttle on pedal assist 0. You bump it on 1, and default settings are, it'll take you up to 10 miles an hour, very snappy, just instantly hit 10. And gear number 5 on the shifter feels natural. Now you could bump that pedal assist down, in the app to like a slower speed if you don't want to be hitting 10, but it is a cadence sensor on this bike, so it doesn't matter how hard you're pressing on the pedals or if you're actually pressing at all. You can hear I'm rotating my legs, but you can hear the chain click, 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 click. That means I'm not actually applying power. It's just sensing that I'm rotating my legs a little bit. We got a little Cybertruck here hiding in the shadows. Pedal assist 2, gear number 7, hitting
13, motor's giving about 200-ish watts of power. So if you really want to maximize your range and get the claimed, I think, what they say, 85 miles, you're probably gonna have to be going about 10 miles an hour slower, just cruising, you know, on trickle here. 100 watts of power. What's the watt hours? 1400 watt hours. So if you ran, you know, 200 watts for 7 hours, that would drain the battery to 0. That'd be a pretty boring ride in my opinion. Let's crank it up to pedal assist 3 here and start to ride this thing more like a motorcycle. So I'm turning my legs over here, keeping up with the pedaling at 17 on pedal assist 3, giving 320 watts of power there. And I just love these bikes that give you the wattage output. I don't know, I'm kind of like a nerd on the stats, I guess. So let's throw this thing on pedal assist 4 now. Boom, 1300 watts. And coming around this corner, I can feel the length, the wheelbase of this thing. It makes it feel kind of like more stable and less snappy to turn compared to a lot of the bikes I review with shorter wheelbases. Obviously, you know, it's a cargo bike, got a little bit of weight to it, but I really don't feel the weight as much as the wheelbase because the weight's all sitting pretty low. You know, that battery on the back is mounted low and in the middle of the bike, and shorter wheels, so pretty much low center of mass on this bike compared to some. Gear number 7 here, pedal assist 4. I am out of gear at 23. I can't keep up, well, just barely 24 miles an hour on pedal assist 4. Brakes are feeling good, thankfully, because we got, that truck looks like it's about to pop a wheelie. Yeah, so pedal assist 4 here is giving about 1300 watts. You just got to get it above probably about 5 miles an hour or so for it to give you that full power. So cruising at 10 and then start rotating my legs. It ramps on the power, so it doesn't like just smash you with it. Makes it kind of like a pleasant ramp up. Really don't want all the power instantly. Like that truck's delivering all the power instantly. Now would be a good time to take out the old polarized lenses. Can you see the display? Yes, sure can. So this display is very basic, but very good. I can see it very visibly. It's very bright in the bright sunlight out here. So sometimes, you know, can't see all the displays perfectly, but there we go. 1200 watts, 1300 watts. So you get all the power basically after about 10 miles an hour. So pretty gradual ramp up on the throttle. Like it's an approachable bike that's also powerful. Some of these high power e-bikes, like the 60 volt ones, like I don't know if I'd really recommend them for a beginner. And this is mostly a street bike. I'm gonna dial that suspension down just a bit. So you do get clicks on that front suspension. This thing's not designed to be riding off-road, but I like to, you know, try them in all circumstances. Oh yeah, it's pretty rough riding. Since most of your weight is kind of sitting on the back, you do get a little bit of springs built into that big old cushy seat, but there is no suspension on the back. And I have the tires cranked up for some street riding to get some better range. We'll throw this thing on pedal assist 5 now, showing 1333 watts. And we're going down this little hill here. That was smooth going over that bump with the front suspension. Get a little bit of your weight on the front wheel. 30 into a headwind here, 29 according to my GPS, so not bad at all for a cargo bike. Yeah, just looking at those watts there, man, this thing's holding 1326, 1328. Now would be a good time to make use of those blinkers and merge on over. Just about 6 lanes here. I can count, I promise. Now there's no indication on the dash that your blinker is on. We're gonna pass the Prius hybrid and get up here behind the G-Wagon, a fellow cargo hauling kind of machine. They might be better at doing off-roading than us though. Might as well flip on a blinker here. Oh yeah. They got a little bit more throaty sound than the sound of this machine. Wonder which one's more reliable. Now would be a good time to note the throttle does work beyond 20 miles an hour. Did I turn my signal off? No, I did not. Sending false signals. Put it on. Oh gosh, are the brakes gonna work? Yeah, man, these RSX levers feel nice. Of course, I'll give them a full test here soon, but these ones do feel nice. And the Prius we just passed, we're behind again. I do have those footboards kind of turned in, so we get a little bit more room for sneaking by tight areas. Check out that cargo bike. So we're gonna do a 0 to 20 acceleration run here. Ready, go. See how it compares to other bikes maybe. GPS is right there. 10, 15, 18, 19, 20. And throttle works beyond 20, so pretty solid for a cargo bike. I'm not sure what that dude was doing, but seemed to be going fast enough to get him tripping out a little bit. Is that steering stable? I think it's stable. Felt a little wobble there for a minute. Watch out, cars, I'm coming through. Can we get some air? Probably shouldn't, but I did. And we're gonna go ahead and get a high-speed run in here to see what we can do, topping out with a little bit of tailwind going this direction. So, oh gosh, what is happening? What is happening? Full throttle here, getting behind the Tacoma, and 22, 23, 20, 28, 29, still pulling strong, giving 1,000, 1,100 watts of power, 30 miles an hour, still pulling 1,000 watts, so it'll give you power beyond 29, 30-ish, holding about 800, 900 watts here at 30 on my GPS and 31 on the GPS. I'd say that's fast enough for a cargo bike, but not fast enough for this Audi passing me to go into traffic here. And we'll get out here, whip around on the beach a little bit. Let's actually go ahead and adjust the pedal assist sensitivity from 1 to 4 and see what that does. I guess it just auto saves. Let's check it out. Probably should be starting on a lower gear here. It's on 4. So it kind of gives you about, I don't know, a second lag until it kicks on. So not pedaling, and then it ramps on slowly. What if we switch it to pedal assist sensitivity 1 for low? Now same deal, not pedaling, ready, pedaling. Can't really say I felt too much of a difference there. But if you're the kind of rider that likes to rely on thumb throttle and just kind of cruise controlling, this is kind of neat, or it has the speed limiter based on pedal assist level. So right now, pedal assist 1, we can just kind of hold it here on 1 and it'll just hold us at 10 miles an hour. But if we turn that off, now we get access to all the power regardless of what pedal assist level we're on with the throttle. So a lot of bikes, you know, you don't really have that option with the app, so that's kind of one useful thing on the HeyBike app. Got some Trader Joe's shoppers out here. Now, running up this sand hill is just not going to be an option on this bike. The tires aren't wide enough, they're street tires, and I'm not willing to crash today. We'll try it on some flat sand here shortly. Dude, look how tall that bike is. How do you get off that thing? So I will say the seat on this bike does not encourage me to pedal this bike at all. It's just so wide, it's almost like just chilling on a piece of furniture. It kind of almost gets in the way of my hamstrings as I'm pedaling, if that makes any sense. So it's definitely, I'd say, kind of set up more to be, you know, more of a rely on the throttle kind of bike. As far as I'm concerned, how I feel about it. Police look like they got stuck out there. That might be a good time to try this thing, see if it'll work in the sand. I can pretty much guarantee you it's not going to. Get this wheelbase through here. Full throttle, go! Yeah, we're looking pretty much like the police. Getting stuck with our street tires. Yeah, they're not wide enough, and then they're street treads, so they just don't really connect very well. We could drop the tire pressure down a little bit, just like they're doing over on the police truck. Oh gosh, I'm blocking both lanes here. This thing is 10 feet long. Whoa. And just cruising along here on pedal assist 2, looks like we have some sort of pink bunny thing. Well, let's go see how it does on the California incline. Then we'll test the brakes and see what kind of final range we get out of it. So we're about to climb that 85-foot tall cliff. It's gonna be an average grade of about 12. We'll let the motor do its thing here. Definitely can feel the wheelbase of this thing coming around the turn, just kind of tapping on that throttle on and off. It is pulling 1,000 watts. Oh, sorry. Got somebody coming on the right side of the road. 1,000 watts, 1,000 watts. So after you get it above about 6, 7 miles an hour, it'll give you a full 1,000 watts. And then, you know, beyond that, after you get to 11, 12, oh, I can feel the weight on those brakes. Brakes are feeling good. We'll try them down here at the bottom of the California incline, but full throttle here. The base of the California incline, pedal assist 5, throttle only, 1,200 watts. Let's see what kind of speed we can hit. We're already at 12, 14, 16, so pretty, you know, strong cargo bike. Going up to 12% grade, pulling 1,300 watts. So, you know, this is kind of maybe like a simulation of what it would be like pulling maybe a 200-pound person on the back. I'm just guessing, but, you know, 19 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour. Pulling 1,300 watts. I've never actually seen it hit 1,400, but in, you know, over 13 I've seen it do. So pretty solid. I mean, it's you know, pretty normal for a high-ish power cargo bike. So let's try the brakes. 180 millimeter rotors. Now, The dual battery version of this thing weighs in at, I weighed it at just over 100 pounds. Let's see where it'll cut us off on the speed here. It's showing downhill 31 and hydraulic brakes, RSX brakes. They feel really smooth and linear, and yeah, these brakes are strong. I wasn't quite sure I wanted to risk getting too close to this wall, but these brakes are actually very, very good. You know, hydraulic brakes are always better than mechanical brakes. I think mechanical brakes on a bike like this would not be adequate, and there are different like levels of hydraulic brakes. I would put these RSX ones right up there with like Tekturo, you know, and like my favorite-ish for like these budget kind of bikes, under $2,000 bikes. Yeah, these brakes are good, you know. Like some of the bad ones I would say are DY Island. Not that the brakes themselves are bad, but like they just feel like garbage compared to like these RSXs or Tekturos. And that front suspension's soft when you have it on the soft setting anyway. And to touch on the motor noise and tire noise on this bike a little bit, the tires are basically silent. They are the street tread and only 3 inches wide, so a lot less road noise than like a knobby 4-inch. Motor noise definitely makes a little bit of noise there, pretty typical for a geared hub motor. I have heard quieter geared hub motors, but this is just pretty typical, I would say. So at the risk of getting demonetized from music, we're gonna do the brake test here in front of the party house. So let's give them a little brake test for about 20 miles an hour. Just slam on the brakes, see what happens here. Oh yeah, these brakes are solid, dude. Also, I noticed you can be responsible and like step on these back things like this and if you're looking for a bike to ride wheelies, this probably isn't going to be your #1 option. So after about 10 miles of cruising here, we are sitting at 52.2 volts, pretty much almost full still. Hold up. Look at this chopper, dude. It's got the dual blade, absolute beast mode chopper up there. You guys always tell me what that is in the comments, and I always forget every single time. So it's somewhat rare sighting, but it does come through. So at the time of this recording, the price for this bike is $1 shy of $1,800, and the link below this video in the description box. You can see any sort of promotions they have going on down there, any sort of discount or freebies they're including. If you click on that link down there, it would also help support my reviews if you did decide this is the e-bike for you and you bought through that link down there. If you only want the single battery version, I think it's about $400 less. If I was gonna get this cargo bike, I'd probably do the dual battery, honestly. You're just gonna get like way more range and speed, and if you're towing stuff, you know, if you want to get some good distance out of it, dual battery is the way to go. Obviously, you keep the price and the weight down by only getting a single battery though. So value for the money, I think this one is definitely fairly priced for sure. I mean, you're getting pretty good battery range out of it, and the components all around match up with the price, I'll say. This one does not feel like one of those super cheap crap ones, you know, with like DY Island brakes. Whenever you see DY Island brakes, it's pretty much a sign, you know, everything's a little bit lower quality all around. So yeah, this one's got the RSX hydraulics and they feel nice. Good plentiful power, you know, not the #1 best hill climber, only because it kind of reduces your power as you get down to those slower speeds, but as long as you get some speed going into it and maintain it by pedaling a little bit, you'll be cool on, I mean, even the 20% grade, it can make it up, which is really steep, and obviously just dominated the 12% grade, which is not steep. So all around, pretty decent option for a cargo bike. If you want to grab one, click that link below. So let's head on home, take the final range. Actually, let's see if we can whip through just a little bit of sand here. Yes, careful though, careful. These tires are too skinny to be doing that. So on the dual battery version, we have about 1,400 watt hours. So if we ran 1,000 watts, 1,100 watts for hour and a half, battery would be dead. So slow down. What I'm saying is what we're doing is not good for range. And I guess you can kind of tell, like when you turn the wheel, the long wheelbase, I don't know, it's like it got a little wiggle to it almost, like the tail's wagging, like it's a little tail happy. Oh, you know what? That's not the frame at all. That's the seat. The seat is like, has those springs on there, so like the seat is like wobbling back and forth. It's not the frame. Yeah, check it out on this seat. That's what I was feeling. I was like, what's going on there? That doesn't seem right. It's literally just a seat. All right, dudes, is rolling up on 17 miles an hour, 21 minutes ride time, 12.54 on the average speed. On the battery here, it is showing full bars, but it is a 50.7 volt readout. Would that actually be roughly about 60-ish% remaining on the battery? Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. Yeah, that checks out though for, you know, dual batteries, 48 volt, 18 amp hour plus 12.5. So pretty solid watt hours and pretty solid electric cargo bike. If you do want to grab this, buy it through the link down below the video in the description box. That'll give you the best price and also help support my reviews here on Tail Happy TV. And of course, I greatly appreciate your support. However, if this is not the bike for you, watch this video next, right here on the screen. The YouTube algorithm is recommending it to you, and in the algorithm, we trust. Watch this video.